you been struggling to learn how to make patterns for this beautiful dress you're seeing on your screen right now? No worries at all. Today we're going to learn how to draft patterns for it. In less than 20 minutes or thereabout, you will be drafting your own patterns for this beautiful dress. Trust me, this dress is simpler than the way it looks. So drafting patterns for it is very easy. Just follow along with this tutorial step by step, because we'll be analyzing the style or the design and then we'll be drafting it accordingly. Alright, so now go grab your pattern making tools. Let's start drafting our patterns. The next thing we're going to do would be for us to create the waistband. Okay, if you look at the dress very well, you notice that there is a waistband just directly at the middle here. So we're going to create our waistband. Okay, so this is our waistline. So I'm going to take a little bit from this side and a little bit from this side, say about 2 cm on both sides of our waistline. Okay, okay, so we're going to cut off our waistband, 2 cm on this side and 2 cm on this other side. Okay, so because our waistband does not have dart, we are going to eliminate the dart. So we're going to fold on one leg of our dart and then place it on top of the other leg of our dart and then close it up with our sticky tape or glue. Okay, and then you're going to close the other dart as well. Okay, so we're going to set our waistband on the side. We're going to set it aside, and then we're also going to set aside the lower part of this dress. We're going to work on it later. Now let's work on this part first. Now the first thing we're going to do is, if you look at your design, you will notice that the darts, the waist dart here, they are not really darts, they are pleats. So the pleat here, it comes in a curve. So we are going to create a curve for it as well. So this dart is what we're actually going to use to create the pleats. Okay, the value of that dart. Now you're going to measure the value of your dart here. So whatever you have as the value of your dart, you're going to place it on this side. So measure it. I have about 2 cm here. So I'm going to measure from here 2 cm. So measure your own dart. Is most likely going to be different from mine. So you measure and then you connect this part to it in a slight curve. Okay, now you go to this other side, because this dart also comes in a curve as well. So you also measure your dart value and then you place it here. And then you draw your nice curve. So basically what we have done is actually moving this dart to this part. Moving this dart to this part. We have not done anything extra. Okay, so once you've done that, we are going to close our shoulder dart because we don't need our shoulder darts. And then you're going to cut on this leg of your dart so that you can close your shoulder dart very well. Okay, okay, now take note, you still have this your waist dart here, so we need to eliminate this waist dart so that we can create our pleat here. So you're going to cut on this your curved dart, your new curved dart, like so. Now once you cut on it all the way down to the dart tip here, you are going to overlap this value of this dart and close it up. All right. Okay. Okay, so you're going to do exactly the same thing for this other side. So you're going to cut on one leg of your dart and close it up as well. Okay, so we still have this dart value here, so we're going to cut on this curved dart and then close it up nicely. So you close that dart value. All right. Good. So you see that your darts are now curved, so we're going to use it for pleats. So the next thing will be for us to extend this sleeve. It's slightly extended on the shoulder, so just place it on the paper so we can draw it nicely. So we're going to measure downwards about 1.5 cm. So you just mark, and then you use your curved ruler just to smoothen it like so. Okay, now you're going to extend the shoulder a little bit, say about 3 cm. Yeah, so about 3 cm is okay. And then you're going to drop the armhole here, say about 1.5 cm, and then you're going to connect nicely. So because this sleeve has a slight of extended shoulder on one side of the sleeve, so that is why we are doing this. So it's more like a drop shoulder. Okay, and then you are going to trim off the excess paper. So the next thing would be for us to draw the neckline. Now you're going to determine how wide you want your neckline to be. So for me, I'm just going to measure from my neck tip here, say maybe 5 cm or thereabout, 5 cm. Then on this side too, you're going to measure 5 cm as well. Now you're going to connect it nicely with your French curve. Okay, and then you trim off the excess paper. Now you come to this side, so you notice that this side goes in a little bit, so we're going to take it in maybe about 1 cm, and then we're going to drop our underarm here 1.5 cm, just the way we did for this side. And then you redraw your armhole curve. Now the reason why we had to drop this side about 1.5 cm was because the sleeve on this side is really not the sleeve. The way it is on this side is a lot tighter on the armhole. But as I guessed on this side where we had to add flounce to it, so this place is a lot more freer. I hope you get. Okay, so once you've gotten to this stage, we're going to set this aside, and then we're going to work on the lower skirt. So for the lower skirt, we are first of all going to eliminate these waist darts, and to do that, we're going to measure the value of this waist dart. This is about 2 cm. We're going to take it off from this part, 2 cm. So you measure whatever value your waist dart is, you're going to take it off from here, just this one, and then you use your French curve to redraw it very nicely, and then you trim off your excess paper. So that means that we don't need this dart anymore. Okay, Now we are going to create our pleat, and to create our pleat we need to draw slash lines. So you're going to measure from your waistline maybe about 5 cm, just drop it down, say about 5 cm, and then the next one will be about 5 cm as well, so that your pleat will be uniform. Okay, now you're going to connect this first mark to your dart tip, and then this other one you're just going to connect it like so. Now you can measure the distance here, say maybe about 7 cm or 8 cm, and then you connect to the other one. Okay, so now you're going to cut on your slash lines. You cut all the way to your dart tip because we want to close these darts. And then you place this on top of it and close your dart very nicely. So you see, when you close your dart, you have an opening here. This is what we use for our pleat. So we're going to open the other dart, other slash lines. So you get a plain sheet of paper and place it on the net, so you can spread out your pattern pieces. Okay, so you're going to measure this part where you spread out, and so I have about 6 cm here, so you can make the other 6 cm, or you can make it slightly wider. But usually I like my pleats, all my pleats to be even, so I'm going to make this 6 cm as well. But just note that the wider you spread them, the bigger your pleat will be. Okay, now so you fold on one leg of your pleat like so, and place it on the second leg. You can use your sticky tape to hold it together in place. And then you fold on your second leg, place it on the other one like so. Okay, and then you trim off the excess paper. So we're going to have our lower skirt just like this. Now we have one more thing to do. We need to create the flounce here. So to create that flounce, we're just going to measure this length from here to the hem line before we can create the flounce. So you take your measuring tape and then you just place it like this and measure it all the way down to the hemline. Okay, so I have 52 cm here, so I'm going to create my flounce using 52 cm. So whatever value you have for yours is what you're going to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my 52 cm by 4 to create the flounce, because I'm going to fold my paper into 4. So I'm going to show it to you right now. So you're going to take a clean sheet of paper, you're going to fold it into 4, just like this, like so, okay? And on the folded part of your paper, we're going to create our flare. You see the folded part, you see this part? You divide whatever value you have by 4, and that's going to be the mouth of the flare, or the circumference. So I'm just going to place my tape like so. I'm sure you already know how to create flounce or flare, and if you don't, no worries at all. I have a tutorial where I showed how to create flounce or flare, circled flare. So it's just about the same thing. So you can just scroll down my channel and then you see the tutorial. Okay, it's very easy. Now the width of my flare, how wide my flare is going to be, will be about 12 cm. I don't want it to be too big because the style here, the flare is not too big, so 12 cm is just okay. So now you're going to trim off the excess paper. So now open up your flare or your flounce, and then you cut it on one side of your folded edge, just like so. Now, because the flounce is not entirely straight, so we are going to reduce it on one side. So you can measure from here. You can measure from here, maybe 5 cm, and then you just connect it nicely like that, because we want to reduce one part of it. Okay, and then you trim off these excess. So you see, you have your flounce, nice and neat. Okay, now let's try it out. So you're going to place it just like, you're going to place it just like so. Okay, good. You know, because it's paper, so it's a little bit strong. Let me place it like this so you can see it. So you see how it's going to look. You see, so by the time you cut it on your fabric, it's going to relax a lot better. All right, okay, so now we are done with the lower skirt. Now let's go to the back side. You can decide to cut your back side on the waistline so that you have a joining. You can also decide to leave it just the way it is and just stitch your darts just like this. All right, but now we want to really concentrate on the upper side for the back side. So now the first thing we are going to do would be for us to draw our neckline. So you're going to measure from here just the way you did for the front part. You're going to measure 5 cm. I use 5 cm for the front part. You're also going to use 5 cm for the back part, or whatever value you use for yours, that's what you're going to use for the back as well. Now from the center back here, you're just going to drop it down maybe about 1.5 cm, and then you're going to connect your marks just like so. Okay, all right, and then you're going to trim it off. So once you do that, you're going to eliminate these two darts. You're going to remove them. So for this side, the dart value, measure your dart value, whatever it is, you're going to take it off here. So my dart value is 1 cm. I'm just going to measure 1 cm here, and on this side is exactly the same thing. So I'm just going to measure 1 cm on this side. Okay, so you're going to remove this part here. Okay, I'm just going to mark it just like so, and then take off that dart value. So that means we don't need this part anymore. We're also going to do exactly the same thing for this other side. So you bring in your front parts like so, and then you match it just like this. Okay, so in order for us to draw this extended cap or extended shoulders, let's place a plain sheet of paper under here So you remember that for the front side we extended it about 3 cm. So you're also going to extend this about 3 cm. Okay, like so. And then we dropped it down about 1.5 cm. Yep. So you're going to use your French curve to connect it like so. So you can chop this off. All right. And then you drop it down again. Okay, so let me cut off this part first so we don't get confused. Okay, so now you're going to connect this part to your underarm, but then remember to drop this part 1.5 cm. So just the way we did it in the front part, and then you're going to connect it with your French curve. Okay, and then you trim off your excess paper. Okay, so you place your front pattern against it to see whether they match. Good. So if they don't match, you just trim off the little excess so that they will match very well. All right. Okay, so we've done this side of the sleeve of the armhole. Now it's remaining this other side. Now you place this other side just like so. Remember, we had to take off 1 cm from this part, so we're also going to take off 1 cm here. So this excess, we're going to cut it off. It's about 1 cm. We just want our shoulder to balance well, and then you drop it down here 1.5 cm. Okay, and then you connect it nicely with your French curve. Then you trim off the excess. Now you place it again to see if they match. Oh, good. So they match very well. Now you can use your Scotch tape to hold them together in place, because we are going to measure this part like so to create our flounce for this other side of our sleeve. So you're going to measure, place your tape measure just like so, and then measure all around from one end all the way down to the other end. So I have about 40 cm here. All right, so I'm just going to use that, divide that by 4, and then create my flounce. You already know how to do that. So let's create the flounce and let me show it to you. So the width of your flounce, you can make it maybe about 14 cm, 15 cm, or thereabout. Okay, so when you open it up like so, you are also going to just you're also going to measure on this side, say maybe about 5 or 6 cm. I'm using 6 cm here, and then you curve it just the way you did for the other part, something like so. Okay, because the lower side, or the side where the armhole is slightly shorter, so that's why we are doing it like this. And then you cut open your flounce like so. All right, so you're going to have something like this. So let me put everything together so that you can see. Oh, by the way, let me put a plain sheet of paper under this dart so that you can see how it is very well. Okay, So that's how the front part will look like. All right, so if I place the back side against it now on the shoulder seam like so. So let's place it together, and then let me show you how the flounce will look like. So you're going to take your flounce, and then it's just going to attach it like so. Nice, right? So that's how your flounce is going to look like on it. I hope this tutorial was simple. See how simple it was. So that's really it for this tutorial. That's how it is to draft patterns for this dress. Now I hope this tutorial was simple, like I said when I started. Was it not? Please let me know in the comment section. Kindly share your thoughts, and please, if you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Share my videos and invite your friends to also subscribe to my channel. All right, so this is the complete front part, and then with your flounce like so. It was easy peasy, right? I bet so. Please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for staying with me up to this time, and thank you so much for watching my tutorials. I'll see you very soon in my next class. Until then, bye bye.